Hi, welcome back to my channel. We're going to talk about startups and insurance strategy, startup businesses. And why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Mel DeWeese, and I've been working in the area of insurance and employee benefits and HR for over 20 years now. And every week on this channel, I talk about HR and employee benefits. It's kind of my thing. So let's jump right into it. If you are a startup, you don't have any time for hardly anything. So let's get to the brass tacks here. So you're sprinting. The typical startup is between 1 and 20 employees. Typical revenue is 500,000 to 5 million. Revenue per employee is about 100,000 to 330,000. And payroll is a 50, 60% of your payroll. Okay. Startups are hard. Your startup business insurance priorities are you start with workers' comp. I'm sure you already know this, and general liability. And then month two, three, or year two, three, you may be looking at health insurance. You may have had some new employees or some employees that you lost. You lost to a competitor, or you really were excited about hiring someone and they needed health insurance, or you need health insurance and your family needs health insurance. Your wife's saying, "Hey, buddy, we've been on this rinky-dink policy for a while. We need some, the kids and this and that. We need this and that." So you may be getting pressured from your family, from your employees to buy health insurance. And it does help start attracting your talent or helps you recruit, helps you not lose quality candidates to larger businesses or to other businesses that do offer health insurance. It is a major contender. It's a major decision maker for these employees that are looking at which employer they're going to be working for. Shows that you're serious. It also shows employees that you're in it for the long haul. An employer that offers health insurance makes that new employee or that potential new hire think that you're more established. So when an employee is out looking for a job, and they interview with somebody that doesn't offer benefits, they think, this kind of feels fly by night. Like they might be canceled, they might be out the door tomorrow. Makes them feel like that employer may not be around for very long. Some employees do think like that. A lot of people looking for jobs, they're looking for a long-term stable employer. And if you offer health insurance and they ask you, do you have benefits? And you say, yeah, absolutely. We pay 100% of employee only for, the silver plan and dental, just makes you appear to be more established than somebody that doesn't offer health insurance. And that completely may not be in sync with reality, but that's just the perception that benefits give when recruiting, when you're in the heat of trying to get the best employees you can, and you're starting out and you're, trying to get the employees that are going to help you grow your business, or that sales guy that is going to bring in more revenue for you or has those relationships that you need. So anyway, year two, add resilience, disability, and life insurance. So you might be looking at disability and life insurance at some point. Most startups are not. Most startups, at the most, we do medical, dental, vision, life. Most of the time, we're just doing medical and life. I do try to throw in life insurance in there because it is so inexpensive. It usually ends up being, like a $10,000 policy. It can be like $3, $5 a month, just add it on. I do that just because I suggest it. I suggest it to the employer. They don't always do it. They don't want that extra line item on there, but I've set up plans and then people die. So I've just been through it enough with enough employers and just the roll of the dice, just happenstance. And it sucks when your employee's driving to work and they get in a car accident and die and you don't have a life insurance policy, and it doesn't benefit you any, obviously. The 10,000, even if it's just a $10,000 policy, it goes to the family. Funerals and burials and death is so expensive in 2026. And helps the employer a lot. I'll tell you, if they have a life insurance policy, it helps them feel better. At least the family's getting 10,000 to help them through this time at the very least. And a lot of employers feel obligated to, pay a couple extra paychecks or something like that. So anyway, it does really help if you do have some sort of life insurance for your employees. If you go through that, and if you've ever been through something emotional like that at work, you understand. Stage one, founder led, 1 to 5 employees. Founders are doing everything at this stage. Revenue is usually between 500 and 5 million or 500 and 2 million. Cash flow is erratic, and they're in survival mode. No formal HR yet. Hiring is ad hoc and can feel desperate at times. Growth mode. So the next phase is 6 employees to 15 employees. First real operational hires. You get some engineers, maybe a couple sales guys. Revenue grows from 2 million to 3, 4, 5 million. Cash flow stabilizes sometimes. Ad hoc processes, more structure is needed. Someone needs to do payroll, benefits, and onboarding. So this is where having insurances that assist with admin in any way is extremely important. Stage three, hiring an office manager or HR person, 16 to 20, 25 employees, your first office manager, HR coordinator, your revenue has grown between 4 million and 8 million. Compliance becomes critical. Okay. You got payroll, benefits, and hiring. And if any lawsuits come up in those areas, it can really set you back. Formal systems, documentation, policies emerge. Team is now diverse, and management really matters. How people are managed really, really matters. Health insurance, a critical startup decision. This is your big insurance investment and your biggest talent lever. Why would you offer health insurance? Top 3 reasons is talent, making sure you're getting an opportunity to get a chance for top talent to even consider your organization as a place that they would want to work. It's a huge morale boost when you do start offering benefits, tax deduction for the business, pre-tax employee contributions, tax deduction for the employees, and it signals that you're serious and you're in it for the long haul. The downside is the cost. It's always the cost. 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%. I mean, some of these this year, this year's rough. Admin overhead, enrollment, claims requires formal benefits administration. Employee expectations start to rise. Okay, so some employees can get a little snooty, but we deal with those as they come. Okay, startup insurance timeline. Year one, foundation. Month one, workers' comp, general liability. Then you start looking at health insurance. You So what I usually tell people in that first year, if they are looking at health insurance, they may not want to add it right away. Most businesses don't it in their first year. It's very rare unless they have an investment from somebody or the business owner has owned a previous business. It's kind of hop, skip, and a jump with a big chunk of money over to a new business. A lot of people know how that goes. But in those cases, yes, they'll start out with health insurance right away. But if they're starting brand new and yeah, they've had a couple of businesses, but it wasn't like they got a buyout or they got bought out or they sold it or anything like that. They're just trying to figure it out. Entrepreneurs still figuring it out. It takes a couple of times sometimes, right? So that first year, they're usually not doing health insurance, but getting some sort of quote, getting it reviewed, talking about it, I think is always a good idea in that first year. That way, you know how expensive it's going to be because you'll likely in that second year probably want to get something going, at least for yourself and your family, and look at hiring someone to help you in that first year. And that second year, it's going to be, 2, 3, 4 more people if you're growing. So you will certainly start to need health insurance if you're going to if it's not just going to be you and Susie, your admin assistant, you start growing three, four, five people, you having that health insurance is really going to help you get those, just that better, uh, having that health insurance is really going to help you in that recruiting process, like we talked about. All right. Of course, you don't want to start too early. If you're spending a bunch of money every year on health insurance, it makes it really hard to grow. So if it's just you and one other person, depending on the person that you have on with you, sometimes it's family and somebody's sick, somebody has a kid that needs this or that. Okay. So workers' comp, usually $3,000 to $8,000. General liability, $400 to 2,000. It could be certainly, I'd say five, seven. Um, Health insurance, 10K. I mean, 2,000, does it say $2,000 for health insurance? So if you have any questions about any of these types of policies, I do have an offer right now that it's free to schedule a call with me. I'm happy to talk this through with you. This is usually for a consultation where I gather policy information and through a complete review of an employer's policies and make suggestions on how to improve their employee benefits or improve basically the efficiency of what they're spending their money on within their employee benefits. Or sometimes it's even just admin where I suggest making some changes with their administration or employee communication, things like that. But for startups, I'm happy to talk it out with you. I've worked with so many startup businesses. I do love it. I do love helping other entrepreneurs who are out here struggling getting businesses started up. And uh, I have some other resources or suggestions if you want to start shopping around. Of course, obviously, I offer certain insurance, but I have friends and people that I've worked with for years that have different types of policies that might interest you in the meantime before you're ready for a full-on more expensive option where it brings in all your employees. So anyway, there's a bunch of different things we can talk about. And I'm not here to oversell anybody. I'm not one of those hard pitch sales people. I'm more of a consultant style where I just give you the information that I have and as honestly and as objectively as possible. And then I leave it up to you. You're the client, it's your money, it's your decision. So very low pressure. I'm just here to give information. And with that, thank you for hanging out to the end. If you give me a like, a comment, it really helps me out. Share it with somebody if you think that you know an HR manager, CEO, CFO that would be interested in getting a free assessment or a second opinion on their employee benefits. Please share the video or share my bennies.info scheduling tool. And that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.